Hello, everybody. Welcome to a scene for Living World of Darkness. Rage across New York as the trio of Aiden, Jason, and 10 Point are in the Umbra walking away from the calamity that was the previous scene. Aiden's still with his trusty old shillelagh tied to his belt now at this stage. As he walks, hands in his pockets, and will look over at Jason as he's walking, and well, that was
A
something.
disaster.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, that was a bit on the complicated side.
I mean, in her defense, if I'd been less in shock, I probably would have been about the same. So I can't be that mad.
Yeah, it could be worse. Nothing bad happened, so there's more comedy actually than anything else. I'd be more worried about the other one.
And Jason looks briefly confused. The other one?
Well, the two of them, both Desmond and Pants, I'd be more worried about.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I mean, Pants is
you're on the right track with her, I think.
learning.
Put her in place.
Yeah, apparently punching things is my job now.
Sometimes you got to be firm, and you notice the way she's growling in the higher ranks. That'll get her in very, very big trouble.
Yeah, I'm just not used to being a wolf. I got out of the army because I was tired of hurting things as my job.
Shrug. That's reasonable. It's just sometimes you gotta apply force when force is necessary. It may not be pleasant, but it's better to be firm than to be soft and for something bad to happen to her.
No, you're right. She's learning. She's just gonna get her ass beat several times before she learns enough.
It's a learning curve. You're doing well. You did well. You look over at 10 Point.
10 Point echoes it with a nod. She's likely walking on the other side of Aiden. You did very well enforcing your place in the Cub Pack. And she's very, very lucky that it wasn't worse than it was.
He nods and kind of rubs the back of his neck. Desmond? Is it bad that I want him to gain rank just so I don't have to deal with him anymore?
Do you really want him to gain rank so he'll lord it over you?
Never mind that if he gains rank, he's able of being responsible for the other cubs when they leave the park. And with his delusions of grandeur, it's very possible he would get himself and any that went with him killed.
He kind of sags.
I know it's hard on Ray.
Leadership can be tough
on him.
Sometimes there is no teaching. Sometimes they have to learn.
He's not learning.
Sometimes
everybody at this point has hit him. Because that's apparently how Garu teach things, and he's still not paying any attention. Raya, sorry, I'm interrupting.
You're fine. He'll give us a gentle smile. And sometimes, and this is the harsh reality of the world that we live in, sometimes then he probably won't make it.
Have you considered perhaps removing the distraction? If you're his alpha, and if the Den parents approve it, restrict him from the training grounds. He is focused on it to the exclusion of everything else. And as a Philodox, it is not a healthy focus.
No, he's down in the ruin.
Jason clearly hadn't even thought of it, and it never would have occurred to him that he could do that, actually. So there's this kind of like, expression on his face.
I would make sure that your den parents understood why and approved it first.
Oh, I definitely need to talk to them.
It may be the only way to force him to focus on something besides constant combat training.
Constant combat training that he's losing.
I don't think he's won a fight yet. He's killed things, but none of them were difficult.
I'm just saying he could end up doing something rash. So probably stick with 10 points idea and get him away from trying to be the big bad Arun.
Kind of nods slowly.
Kind of spread his hands. Sorry I had to see another side of me earlier. I don't usually get aggressive. But just, you look over at 10 point and Jason could see that worried look in his face.
10 point has probably gone so far at some point as to, like, again, as she does, kind of manage to weasel herself under his arm. Sticking very close. Closer than usual, actually.
And Jason kind of looks down at her and then just nods. Like, he knows.
Oh, really?
Or at least he thinks he knows. He's a pretty sizable difference.
I just get protective. I just get
not.
Protective. You just nod.
Especially after yesterday.
Yeah.
There's an emphatic nod.
And she's a theurge?
Frenzies can happen.
And that really does drive home why cubs are not allowed off sept without chaperones. When
Another
at all.
Nod.
Emphatic nod.
I used to have a bit of a problem myself where, yeah, you look over at 10 point, I could barely keep hold of control of myself.
You did.
I was like a walking, talking atom bomb at one stage.
I went through that phase.
Aiden had it worse than most Aruns. Very easy to set him off. Very easy. It was very dangerous.
It was, but we're past that now. I give it a smile.
And yeah, a relieved smile kind of blooms across her face. It took time, but yes.
So what do I do if restricting Desmond from the training grounds doesn't work?
Then you talk to Chloe and Bites of the Week. And you tell them you put in this in place, you put in that in place, and you honestly think you're not sure what to do, and maybe you need a more experienced hand. Maybe even separate him from the Cubs entirely. Give him, if he wants to be.
Sorry.
Yeah, you look at 10 points. You look at 10 point to go ahead.
It also depends on how it doesn't work, Andre. In this case, his single-minded focus, it seems to be the root of the problem. But his inability to show basic respect for anyone, regardless of the rank gap, is also an issue. I've heard of such things as tasking a cub to always remain on their back in the company of anyone of higher rank. or other signs or other gestures that drive home humility. It is not easy.
Think about it this way. Once I knocked Desmond out, I could have easily walked over, taken my knife out, and taken his tongue. If I was on a more traditional set.
And he would have
If
been in the
Fight the
right.
Weak had been there, might have well have happened. He's fond of that.
Traditional guru. I grew up in a traditional sept.
Anything
Both
that
did.
can heal is fair game. If he keeps wagging his tongue at those of higher rank, he will start losing it. If he keeps it up, he will lose it permanently.
Mm-hmm.
Things will get worse and worse until the lesson sticks.
Or he dies.
Or he dies.
Or is potentially sent away to another sept. These things do happen.
He kind of nods again. Reaches up and rubs his temples.
It's a tough one, but you're on the right track, and I think you're doing the best you can. So nobody's looking at you sideways. You're doing what you need to do.
You're also taking your roles seriously, which is to be commended.
Thank you, Raya.
Did I lose sound?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
My brain just
Okay, that's cool.
seized. Me. Give me a second. Thank you, Raya. Some people may not give you a great deal of respect because you don't kill things, but it means a lot to hear that from you.
And she offers what is actually one of precious few, just kind of open, earnest smile.
It'll smirk a bit.
I can't just retire, can I? Just
That's
the
unfortunately,
worst
no.
plan ever. I know. I'm trying to imagine. Well, I don't know. Maybe Nicola could do it. I never see him though, so I can't really hand him the hat.
I wouldn't be thrown in the towel just yet. Not to make Cleith, at least.
Besides, it speaks volumes that you take your role seriously, that you take overseeing the other cubs seriously, and that you're willing to defend your position. It actually speaks volumes and does you a lot of good. By the time you make Cleith, it will be in very high demand.
Desmond wants me to be in his pack. He asked.
Tip Point Ernest looks
to be
very
in his pack.
confused. Does he expect to lead a pack?
That's definitely the way it sounded. He says he doesn't trust anyone else.
If he has lost every single bout, how does he intend to lead?
That is an excellent question.
Yeah. I think the guy just likes the sound of his own voice.
Sooner or later, he's going to have to stop dreaming and accept reality for what it is and learn to work within that reality. I can understand that sometimes dreams are preferable. I know personally that sometimes dreams are preferable. But we work with what we have.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Shoots him kind of a sympathetic smile.
Ruffling his jacket. Speaking of which, I think me and 10 Point and Saoirse were thinking about a few things related to you, and we thought, well, we got you something.
You what?
We got you something. Thought it'd be fitting.
Confused.
We thought it'd be fitting after the offer I made to you the other day that it would show our intent and how serious we are with
it. Thank you.
It's homemade from us. You'll awkwardly hand it over. It's in like a small wrapping paper, obviously.
Take the package. Looks so awkward. How big is it?
It looks awkward as well. It looks awkward as well. It's not
like I imagine the size of about like a jewelry box that you'd usually get something the size of a necklace or a bangle in. Something about that size.
It is ridiculously dwarfed in his giant man hands. Because he's moose. And he kind of carefully peels off the paper. He's apparently the kind of person that likes to slit the tape with a fingernail and then just unfold everything. And kind of after neatly unfolding the paper, we'll crumple it up and shove it in a pocket because you don't just drop trash all over the place. And then he'll open the box.
And you and I have talked at least briefly on it. So, I mean, you know the gist of what it looks like. Essentially something the size of that wooden locket you showed, though, albeit made out of antler and engraved with the claddagh on it.
He looks really confused, honestly, because it's this kind of lozenge-shaped charm on a necklace.
And 10 Point will helpfully reach over and very gingerly will lift it maybe not even an inch from his hand and slide it open.
There's a lot of blinking. Like he's really not processing. He's like, I have a locket now. He looks so confused.
He'll look at 10 Point awkwardly.
He will get urged through the pack link to explain.
It's from us, from what you lost. And when we talked before, you spoke of you wanted to have memories of something and how to cope. There's a start of it, at least.
This way it won't fall out of your pocket, Andre.
Understanding hits him like a shillelagh on the back of the skull, and he just... Jason goes from okay, all right, this is to just hot mess in 0.4 seconds. Like he's just been punched. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a statement of us. We would do anything for family, even help them in their most trying times and help them remember the things they loved and lost.
By now, 10 Point is
We
kind
do
of
anything.
working around to Jason's far side as opposed to Aiden's. Kind of setting an arm around his
That we-
shoulders, supportively.
Effectively, that we do anything for each other, even help them remember and help them have their memories that they want.
And he kind of nods slightly, like clearly the stuttered thanks is about all the words that he can manage right now, and fumbles in his pocket, managing not to drop it, to pull out the broken wedding ring and slide it into the locket and slide it closed. And his hand is like shaking.
10 Point's far hand is already delving into her bag. Put it on, Unrai. I'll make it sure it never comes off again. Not unless you want it to.
And if as long as the chain is long enough, he will just slide it over his head. If there's a clasp involved, it's probably not going to work so well. But he will put it on.
And 10 Point will have the small burner out, light incense, put it in there, and begin her usual process, walking 3 times sunwise, 3 times Flittershins, 3 times sunwise again, and perform the rite. And dedicate it. And I am going to spend, because I fucking can, and I'm not failing. So there. And it is Mystic Rite. I meant to buy out my rituals and didn't. Shame on me. Let me quickly. It is dedicated as fuck. So yeah, she goes through the process and very, very thoroughly binds the necklace as, again, she essentially dedicates what he is wearing. So it is considered a part of the outfit. And then we'll probably scoop up some of the snow because it's present even in the Umbra to snuff the incense out and begin putting everything away again. Very pointedly all the while not looking at Jason's face and kind of letting him have his moment.
He's he'll take a little bit to calm himself down again. It's a process, but will collect himself. Manages not to end up in tears this time, although that goodness knows has happened several times in the past month. Big manly tears. But finds some modicum of composure and will actually, because it's apparently his thing now. He does the fist to chest Roman salute to both of them and just kind of bows. Because frankly, it's more effective than trying to put words together right now.
Tim Point again, very, very openly exhibits just a small, faintly sympathetic smile. And we'll snake her way back around to Aiden's other side and back up under his arm.
Whatever you choose. We just wanted to make sure you have that. To know how serious we are about wanting you in this family.
And he just nods.
and just nod awkwardly.
General failure at making eye contact at this point. He just takes a deep breath and kind of wiggles his shoulders a little bit, like, I'm good, I got this. Okay. Thank you. It means a lot.
And I just nod. I tell you about, well, things, but point at the crow. He doesn't get to hear about her.
There'll be time later. I'm
Just nod.
But yeah, I think for tonight, I should probably go back and check on everybody.
And I just give him a nod. All right.
He kind of nods. So awkward. And then nods to 10 point.
Until next time, Onrai.
And then just kind of like does that awkward, like 3 steps backwards, slowly turn around, walks off towards the lake, not towards where the cubs would be.
And I just look over 10 point. Just nod and put his arm around her. Come on, you. Let's get you home.
And she'll nod. Ready agreement. Good. I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
I imagine with the 3 of them splitting ways, you can say thank you, players, for playing and watchers for watching. And we will see you next time on the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.